Okay, you guys. I'm very well aware of the fact that I am in the shadow banning gutters right now. So if you're here, thank you for being here. But I'm fully aware that a lot of you people are gonna, a lot of you people, that sounded bad. A lot of you guys, a lot of our friends here are probably gonna be watching this on replay, due to the shadow banning shenanigans that are going on right now with my channel. Um, Hold on one second. All right. So this is going to be a fun one though. This video today, I hope it's going to be fun. We're going to do what we do best. Usually on this channel, we gossip about historical figures. But today we're going to kind of gossip about a controversy and a drama that is going on right now. Oh, my computer is warning me about. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, about a controversy that's going right now on the internet. I have spoken about it before, which we're going to get into it in a minute. And I've got some theories, right? Like, I feel like I'm a pretty smart person, and I think a lot of you guys are also really smart too. So with that being said, I'm gonna put my theories out there. I've been putting my theories in like comment sections of other people's videos, but I don't know. There's a lot of people covering this drama. Every Day with Jay. I love the channel Hella. I just subscribed to her. Something Utterance. After we're done with this show, you guys, I will tag all of those channels that I referenced today in the description box below, so you guys can go and subscribe to them as well. And of course, Crush has been covering it. I just found a new channel that's also covering it called where is it? Dreadful Penny. She's been covering it, and so I've been listening to all these people talk about this drama that's going on with the hidden true crime channel, and I literally, because of the last 6 years I've spent here, almost 6 years, we're coming up on 6 years here on YouTube. I've been studying the establishment basically for 6 years straight. And oh, hey, cool. Midwest Night Watchers is here. Awesome. I was saying before I started that I'm in shadow banning gutters, so we'll see how far this video goes out. But nonetheless, here we are. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have fun. I'm going to put forth basically my conspiracy theories and what I think is really going on with hidden true crime and all that kind of stuff. But before we get into that, guys, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up over the schedule here on Esoteric Atlanta for the rest of the year, basically. We're going to be doing videos basically up until Christmas. And the last two videos that we're going to release are going to be on the 26th and the 27th. I'm just processing their pre-recorded videos. I'm actually going to be out of town the 26th through the 1st. So, and I'm going to be up in the mountains, so I'm not going to really have much internet access anyway. I'm going to have a little bit, but not enough to like do a YouTube video. So I'm going to try to get the pre-recorded videos up for the 26th and 27th, and we're going to be doing videos all this week and the beginning of next week. And then after the 27th, we're going to go dark for the rest of the year and kick back up again in January. Hopefully with us going dark for a few days, that will help with the shadow banning. We're doing other things, which I'll talk about at the end of the video if I remember, to try to help with the shadow banning. I have been told that it seems like somebody over in the YouTube world has probably permanently put my channel into shadow banning, so it's not even following the algorithms anymore. Because I'm following all the rules, and my shadow banning just gets worse and worse and worse. So with that being said, we are getting help with that. We know people who work in social media, and so we are going to get help with that to see if I can actually talk to somebody at YouTube, because apparently that's illegal to literally like put somebody's channel away in the corner. But nonetheless, hopefully we'll get all that sorted out by January. I'm so grateful to you guys who continue to find me, even though I've been hidden. As always, please make sure that you subscribe to the Confused Wanderer, Todd's channel, because if anything ever happens to my channel in the sense that it gets taken down, that's where you'll find me until I can reestablish my channel. So, and that's also, we're doing so many fun things with Lou over there. So please make sure you are subscribed to Todd, the Confused Wonder. Make sure you are subscribed to my awesome moderators here, Midwest Night Watchers as well. Let's share the love. Let's help each other out in this corner of the internet, because when you're in this corner of the internet, we deal with a lot of stuff because of what we talk about, and not just what we talk about, but the actual perspective that we tend to have on things. The powers that be in this world don't like the fact that we take on different perspectives on certain topics. And so I thank you guys for continuing to support us. Hello, Native Plant Goddess and Kentucky Hun. How are you guys? And I apologize too. I filmed early this morning with Paula. And you guys, like before we get into it, if you're in the southeastern part of the United States, the weather yesterday was freaking crazy. We had winds that were unbelievably powerful. From what I understand, there was like a winter vortex or something up in Canada, and the winds came all the way down to Georgia. And you guys, my eyes, I don't know if you can see this. Look how swollen my eyes are. That's why I have my glasses on, because it is really causing me some problems today. Where I teach on Sundays in Marietta, which is a suburb. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, hello. Oh, thank you, Midwest Night Watchers, and make sure you guys subscribe to them as well. Midwest Night Watchers, if you want to put your link up too, please make sure you do that as well. They're a great channel. But yesterday I walked, so there is oh, first live, cool. Thank you. Oh, thank you for listening for years. Awesome. Thank you so much. You are the people, I know Dragonfly too, the people who have been here for years, like you guys we have been going through it, haven't we, with YouTube. We are still here. We're still here holding on, even when we get shadow banned. So I thank you guys so much. But I will say, so if you see my eyes looking kind of weird, where I teach in Marietta, it's near the square, which is like a historical, and there's like a path you can walk, and we have those libraries, the free libraries. A lot of people have them, where when you finish reading a book, you can put it and people come and take the book. And it's so anyway, I had a stack of like books that I had finished, like my little bathtub murder mystery reads. And so I put them in a bag, and I was going to walk over before I taught to just drop the books off. But it was so freaking windy. It's only like a mile from the studio, and my eyes were watering like crazy, and my nose and my sinuses are all messed up. So if you guys see that, that is from the wind. That is from the wind from yesterday. Can you guys see that? That's crazy, isn't it? It was crazy wind. I mean, the whole shala was shaking as I was teaching because of the wind, leaves going everywhere. So thanks, Canada. No, but anyway, that's why I have my glasses on. And if you see me having to blow my nose more than normal, that's why. Or if you see my eyes start to water, that is why. And if you guys are in the South too, and you dealt with that I mean, literally, like I was like, what is going on? Like the wind was so crazy yesterday. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into it, I guess. So let's back up a little bit. I've done some shows on hidden true crime and what's going on. I feel dumb. Like I feel like a dumb because I have loved that channel, Hidden True Crime. I've talked about Hidden True Crime a lot on my other previous episodes before this whole scandal happened. I love psychology anyway. For those who have been here for a while, you probably know that. I love the human mind. I love philosophy. And so I really liked hearing Dr. John's perspective on crime. I started following them like a lot of people did with the Lori Vallow Daybell, the unaliving of J.J. Vallow, of Tylee Ryan, of Charles Vallow, and Tammy Daybell. I started watching because that was such a huge case in the United States. There was a Netflix documentary, Sins of Our Mother. It was a wild case as well. And that's kind of going to get into my conspiracy theory, which we'll get to in a minute. But I really enjoyed listening to Dr. John talk about understanding the delusions, we'll say, about Chad and Lori and how it ended in the way it ended. And I thought that was really, really fascinating. Like personally, for me, I think Lori Vallow, who is going to be in prison for the rest of her life, still believes. I think she's still like in that psychosis, I don't know what you would call it, of belief. But that is, Hidden is a cult. So yeah, that's what I'm going to get into. I'm going to get into with Dad. And it was, I think Kresha who brought that up, that, the cult just means hidden. And I'm going to get kind of into that because this is kind of my conspiracy theory, which we're going to, now listen, Hidden True Crime and we started our channels at the same time. You know, and my channel obviously has dealt with pretty much from the get-go, heavy shadow banning, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there was a point where I wasn't shadow banned and I was getting thousands and thousands of views per video, but that only lasted for a very short time before I got shadow banned. But we started at the same time. I'm stuck at like 55,000 subscribers. They have made it into the 300, that over a quarter of a million subscribers now, which, like, good for them. Whatever, good for them. They have a very niche, it's a very niche look at true crime because of Dr. John, all that kind of stuff. And so they gained a lot of popularity. They've done a lot of really, yeah, Crusha's great. I hope to eventually get Crusha on my channel because I really want her in the new year. We're really gonna talk more about Mormonism. Anyway, but that's for the new year for the Mormonism. But anyway, so I was very, Todd and I, when we would travel, we would I never listened to Lauren by herself. It was always more Dr. John that I was interested in. I think a lot of people were the same way from what I've seen from other people's commentary, is that Dr. John is what really got them interested in his analysis. And oh, you think, yeah, some of their subs might be bought. I don't know. I don't do that stuff. Dads are people too. I don't buy subs. People in the yoga world, the other world that I live in, and on Instagram will buy subs, and I always felt like that was really tacky. So I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm just like, be honest, like, who cares? Be honest. But nonetheless, I have heard people say they think they buy subs, but they've been very successful with their channel. And before all this happened, there were a couple of cases that I did not agree with them on. One was, I've talked about before in previous videos, was the Gypsy Rose case, where Dr. John made a huge deal about the fact that Gypsy claimed, she alleged, that her mom had buried like a cow tongue in the backyard to do some sort of spell work. And he made such a big deal about it. And my reaction was, oh, bless your heart, Dr. John. Bless your heart, Dr. John. Like, as we say down here in the South, that's just what mamas do. Like, that's just what we do in the South. Like, that's not, if anybody from the South, like deep Southern people, that's not a big deal. Like, I don't bury cow tongues, but like, that's not, we're very superstitious in the South. I wouldn't want to be from anywhere else in the world because our culture here is so eclectic. I mean, my mother, when she was trying to sell land, I think I talked about this once, she like buried like a saint upside down in the backyard. Like, that's spell work, right? That's just what we do in the South. We go to church on Sundays and then we work with a root dealer on Sunday night. Like, that's just what life is like here in the South. And so Dr. John made a really big deal out of something that's not a big deal here in the South. And I think that kind of skewed his analysis of, yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Dads are people to the Mormon church. I believe they are controlled opposition. And we're going to get to that in a second. So you hit the nail on the head. And we're going to get to those text messages, my conspiracy is. But anyway, back to like the Gypsy Rose thing. Like, I was like, oh dear Lord, like Dr. John obviously has never really spent time in the South. He doesn't understand Southern culture, which my whole perspective was like, that's fine. He's not from the South. Like, I just kind of laughed about it. I was like, he doesn't know that in Southern culture, like, this is just part of what it's like in the South. Like, that's not, so I kind of giggled about it, like, but it kind of skewed his analysis because he took something that's very culturally normal here and made it something bigger than it was. And I had done a video on it, like I kind of talked about it, and Lord have mercy, you guys. I had so many people leave such abusive comments because I called Dr. John out about how he got that wrong. And I was kind of taken back. I was like, so you're telling me that someone who's not from the South has more understanding of Southern culture than someone like me, who's born and bred in the South and whose grandparents are born and bred in the South and great, like, what are you? I'm so Southern. I mean, I had a grandmother, you guys, a great grandmother, my mom's dad, my maternal grandfather, his mother, a woman named Alice Stafford. She was from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She was a Yankee. Lord have mercy. Her mama, my great grandmama, was born into the royal family in England. That's the royal line. And she moved to Philadelphia, had my great grandmother and like 4 other kids. Then my great grandmother had moved us out. My great grandfather had gone to Philadelphia for some medical school training, met her there, moved her down to the South, and my granddad could not stand his mother. I never met the lady, like, she died way before I was born, but my granddad would never talk about his mom. Did not like her. He would just say, "Oh, she's a Yankee. She was mean. She was mean." And I think what he noticed about his mother versus like maybe his friend's mother or his grandparents or my grandmother's mother, his mother-in-law, is there's kind of a sweetness to some Southern women. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't Southern women can be very savage too. They'll just tell you to go to hell with a smile. They'll tell you to go to hell and you'll thank them while they're doing it because they're very savvy in the way they say that. So, needless to say, with this story, I'm very Southern. I mean, I don't know much about my Philadelphia side, the Staffords, because my grandfather wouldn't talk about it. He just did not want to talk about like the Yankee side of his family. That's how Southern my family is. And I love Philadelphia. Philadelphia is one of my favorite. I would move to Philadelphia. It's one of my favorite cities in the whole United States. I ended up spending a lot of time in Philadelphia studying with David Greek. I loved it. Back when I was spending a lot of time there, I just loved it because it's not as big. It's actually Atlanta's a bigger city than Philadelphia. It's not that the historic part's very small. It's right there together. And so that's just kind of as a Southerner, I'm very Southern, you know, in the South, besides like New Orleans, this side of the South, we don't have any Catholics. It's all Protestants. And that's a big deal. I mean, that's Southern culture, right? Like back when my other grandmother she was dating a Catholic, and my great grandfather was so upset, like until she met my grandfather who was a Protestant. There's just weird things about the South. Every culture has these little nuances that you're not going to understand unless you live there. With the whole Catholic thing again, like my sister married a Catholic. Nowadays it's not that as big of a deal as it was a generation or two ago. And I remember at my sister's wedding, my mom was like, "Oh my God, my grandfather would be rolling over in or she said, my grandfather, her father would be rolling over in his grave if he knew that his granddaughter was marrying a Catholic." That's how funny these little nuances are, right? And of course, they change over time. And so I guess my point is when Dr. John was talking about, this whole Gypsy Rose thing, there were obviously parts of this story that he didn't understand because he's not from the South, right? It's like people who are from New England or New York City, the Yankees, as we say, they're probably, for you guys who are from the Northeast, they're probably nuances, parts to like New England culture or New York culture that someone like me who's from Atlanta, Georgia would never, it would go over my head, right? Like, or the Midwest, people who are from the Midwest, there's going to be cultural aspects to cases that people who are not from that culture, it's going to go over their head. They're not going to understand it. Same with other countries. That's my point. But the fact that all of these like hidden gems, these flying monkeys came to my channel, and I had to like block a bunch of comments and a bunch of people, and not physically, sorry, wrong word, verbally like abused me in the comment section because how dare I say that Dr. John was wrong about the analysis of Gypsy Rose's mother and the cow tongue in the backyard. They made it a bigger deal than it actually was. I just laughed about it and said, "Oh, he just doesn't know I'm sure that looks weird from the outside looking in, but like my mom has done shit like that. Like that's just being from the South. Like that's just a normal Tuesday here in the South, right? Does that make sense? Let's see. Mabel Dragonburn, pretty sure John just took Psych 101 at a community college. And his wife just made up the rest because he likes making up shitty opinions. Just like, well, and that was my first like real run-in with them. And it wasn't them. It was never, just to be clear, it was never Dr. John or Lauren. It was their gyms that went on the attack. And again, I'm still bewildered by that because I'm like, okay, so you really believe that someone who's from Chicago's a great city. My dad lived in Chicago for a while when he was a kid. Loved Chicago. But you're telling me someone from that area is going to know more about the South than someone who's actually from the South? Like, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? Like, this is not, I just don't understand. Yeah, Kentucky, I think the cheating, that's another thing too we're going to talk about. Yeah, starting to question. There's okay, so people are now, so dads are people too says people are now starting to question Dr. John's credentials. There's been a bigger reason that he and LM are so terrified. Yeah, yep, absolutely. And Midwest Night Watchers, I will absolutely, I'm going to write that down. The Starved Rock Unalivers. Let me just jot that down quickly. Let me go back to my notes here for today that I have, and I will write that down because we love a good unaliving mystery here, our story here. So the Starved Rock. All right. So that was my yeah, exactly. Dads are people too. It has become a cult, hasn't it? Because I'm just like, and I even said in like my follow-up video, was like, I at that point, I believed that Dr. John probably would have been open to hear me like laugh about that and be like, bro, like Gypsy Rose's mama and everybody else's mama from the South. Like, that's just what we do here. Like, we paint the tops of our porches outside. We paint the ceiling paint blue. You know why we paint the ceiling paint blue? To keep away evil spirits. This is just part of the South. You see people sprinkling salt everywhere. The South is an enmeshment of like Protestantism, because we don't like the Catholic. I mean, I don't care. I say that like as the general. I don't care what religion you are. But in the South, like this side of the South, not New Orleans. New Orleans is a little different because they're Catholic. We're not on this side. We're very Protestant. And we have the church ladies here in the South, which are comedy gold onto their covens within themselves. They have their little prayer circles. That's how they gossip. They pray, baby Jesus, please protect Mary Jane as she's having an affair. That's how they gossip, right? I mean, the church ladies are scary but hysterical at the same time. You know, if a old lady with a pearl necklace on comes up to you and tells you that you look healthy, she just called you fat. I mean, I could create a whole book on like what different Southern words and sayings mean. There's that great Angela Johnson stand-up comedian. She moved to Tennessee and she said, you know, she learned that bless your heart is like calling you a dumbass. And so she's like, people are arguing, bless your heart, no, bless your heart, no, bless your heart. You know, like how we do it here in the South. Oh, awesome. Well, welcome, Juliet. Your channel. Thank God it just popped up because Juliet, I was just saying, I've been in the shadow banning gutters. But here's the thing, Juliet. I am more aligned with Kresha. Actually, I'm pretty much completely aligned with what Kresha is saying because of all of my research that I've been doing on the occult these past 6 years. And yes, dads are people too. I just saw that there was some comment made. Was it in Lauren's book where Lauren and Dr. Babe didn't get married? They went into business together. Like my boyfriend, who I'm like his common law wife. We've been together forever, and I met him through our work, and we kind of have a business together now, but that's not the basis of our relationship. So yeah, it's weird. Okay. So you, as in Chicago gal with the Midwest nice mentality who loves her some petty down the right way, I believe bless your heart is the perfect example of that. Yes. Well, just listen, you are welcome to use whatever I get as the representative of the deep South people. I give you permission to absolutely use whatever you want to use. You know, you can just start telling people. I had another friend of mine who's from the South. She said her mom, instead of saying that people looked healthy to tell them that they were fat, her mom would say, well, you're looking mighty happy. That means you're fat. Let's see. I was born in West Virginia, moved to Alabama, and now, yeah, exactly, Lori. Yeah, it's absolutely. Oh, great, boss lady. Yeah, I've been. It's been welcome. It's been a challenge to get so I'm glad people are seeing my channel pop up. I have been you guys, I have 55,000 subscribers and some of my videos are only getting like 200 views. That's mathematically impossible. So that means I'm definitely shadow banned, but you know, I'm not HTC. I always feel like the right people who see the videos are going to see them. I'm not anyone special. Like, that's just how I feel. I'm sitting in my bedroom right now, right? We're all on this journey together. We're all, as Ram Dass used to say, we're all just walking each other home. We're all trying to protect each other and warn each other and love each other and make fun of each other when we have to and laugh and all that kind of stuff. And welcome to the new people. We have so many people in my community from all over the world. And so welcome, welcome. We get kind of weird on this channel, which I love it. I love being weird. And so anyway, so that was my first run-in. Long story short, that was my first run-in with the gems of hidden true crime, was when they thought I was just so it was out of line for me to tell Dr. John that he got the Gypsy Rose case wrong with the tongue in the jar in the backyard. Okay. So then I started to kind of tap into their Delphi coverage. And I never really wanted to say anything publicly about the Delphi coverage because I was really confused, and I was like, I might be the only one in the world that actually thinks Richard Allen is innocent. And now I'm finding out, watching other people give commentary, these other channels that I have found through this, that they're saying the same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, Delphi was weird. Like, their coverage of Delphi was really weird. It was weird. I mean, let me know if you think it was like normal, because I thought it bothered me. Like, that was the first time, besides the whole Gypsy Rose thing with their gems, not them with their gems. This was the first time listening to some of their coverage of the Delphi that I was like, what the hell is going? And I'm not opposed. Like, my people who've been here for a long time know I'm totally open for people having different opinions. Like, I think that's how we grow and evolve as a society, is when people can give their different perspectives. And I understand that opinions aren't people. Like, my opinions have changed over 6 years. And so I just want to hear, and sometimes people have a different perspective that you didn't even see. And so it gives you food for thought to analyze situations. And here's the thing, like, for those who are new, again, as I've said, I have been studying the occult now on YouTube for almost 6 years, like deep diving into history, into all where we see the same patterns. And occult just means hidden. So there are some occult rituals that are not negative. There are some that are very positive and very helpful. But a lot of the real deeply hidden occult stuff is hidden for a reason. And when Delphi happened, and that's Libby, and oh my God, I can't believe my mind's gone blank because I'm on a live. That's why, if you guys wouldn't mind putting the victims' names of the Delphi into the chat, if Libby and cannot believe my mind's gone blank. Rest in peace, the two little girls on the bridge in Delphi, Indiana, I believe, that were unalived. And Richard Allen is now serving a prison sentence for their unaliving, but I don't think he did it. So here's the thing. When all of this happened, there were all these other people on YouTube, different channels, that were putting up all this evidence of Abby. That's it. Thank you, Abby, Libby and Abby. Beautiful little girls. They were putting up all this evidence of like Odin worship. And the worship of Odin itself isn't bad. Just like everything, there's a positive and a negative, right? But what we were seeing was the negative side of Odin worship, which comes from the Vikings, the Norse. Yeah, Abby, yes. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Abby and Libby, rest in peace, sweet girls. I am so sorry this happened to you. That should never have happened. But so many people were like, hey, I don't think the police are looking at the right angle. This looks very ritualistic. Now, y'all, you call us all conspiracy theories all you want, but the last 5-6 years, more and more people are becoming aware of this occultic shit that happens in our world. I mean, look at the islands, Jeffrey's Island. I don't want to say his last name because of the shadow, the E guy in the Caribbean. The guy who didn't unalive himself. Y'all know his woman is now in prison. And okay, why is there a temple on the island? Like, this is something bigger than just, and my people who've been around for a long time know what we're talking about. This is something bigger than just a business of carpooling people. There's something else going on here. And people are starting to see these patterns in these other bigger cases, like JJ and Tylee, which we're going to come back to with Lauren. So with Delphi, so many people were on these YouTube streets being like, yo, call me crazy, but I'm seeing a pattern here of this crime seems very occultic. And all these everything, the cops did not look into this. It appears from the public that they didn't even entertain the occulted thing. And if I remember correctly, it seems like Dr. John, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he kind of go off in one of those videos about like not getting into the occultic stuff? But here's the thing. So I do a show every now and again. I have a guest that comes on named Criminal Justice Chris. Criminal Justice Chris is deeply involved in researching big cases. She has an incredible blog. She's gone deep into like Son of Sam and the occultism. And I had her on my channel a couple weeks ago where I asked her questions about what got her into this. And we got onto the topic of the occult, because that was one of my questions to her was, were you surprised at how much occultism is in these big crimes? Anyway, once we get off, I'll tag that video in the description box for the replay crew to watch it. She said, I'm paraphrasing, that statistically, and I can't remember the percentage, but majority of criminals, when we're not talking like low crime, we're talking about big criminals, big stuff, scary people. Majority of these people in prisons are majorly into the occult. Interesting. So you're telling me that Criminal Justice Chris, who researches crime, works on prison reform, has done a huge deep dive. She's going back to school to learn even more about how to correct the system. Yes, Dragonfly, Chris is so thorough in her investigation. Like I always tell her that she is literally journalism. Like we're going to get to that too. I want to talk about Project Mockingbird in a minute, but Chris is definitely doing what journalists should be doing. And it's so thorough. And so you're telling me that Chris, who has a whole platform where she's researched this and she's not taking a side, she's just giving you the facts, that there is a huge percentage of really bad criminals in the justice system behind bars. Majority of them are heavily involved in the occult, meaning that they know the occult. They're doing their crimes for occultic rituals. You're telling me that is a legitimate statistic, but Dr. John, who is a criminal forensic psychologist, is ex-naying the possibility that Delphi was occultic. Am I making sense? Like, that's weird, isn't it? Like, if he is a forensic criminal psychologist, would he be very much aware of the same statistic that Criminal Justice Chris is aware of, that most of these criminals heavily believe in the occult and practice the occult, and with the dark side of the occult comes blood rituals? Like, I'm sorry. Why was he poo-pooing it? And then it looked like, to me, it started to appear that Lauren as a journalist was heavily supporting the prosecution, which I know as human beings, we have the propensity to pick a side. I get that. We're all, confirmation bias. We all are at fault at that slightly. But a lot of us are aware of that. Like, I'm aware of my confirmation bias. And when I do my research, I actively try to ignore my confirmation bias. And I actively try to find stuff that conflicts with my own views so that I can exercise my mind more, And so you would think as a journalist, Lauren would be aware of that, especially as a journalist. Like, I'm there to report what is going on. And if all of this occult shit is also, like, if I were to deeply, which I've never covered Delphi on my channel because there's so much to it with the occult stuff, but if I'm covering Delphi, even if I'm not really into the occult angle, if so many people are showing patterns, I'm going to look into it. Because if all these people are seeing these patterns and there's actual receipts to show that this could be occultic, I'm going to look into that angle as well. I also had a problem with, and people are talking heavily about this, so Richard Allen, when he was arrested, he was tortured in prison. I don't want to go into all the details. I'm going to tag all these channels below that when we get off that cover this. But what they did to Richard Allen is, to me, they should be in prison for what they did to him. Regardless of whether you think Richard Allen is guilty or not, what happened to him is embarrassing. As an American, it's embarrassing. And Dr. John, we know that people do false confessions all the time. Like, listening to Dr. John cover Delphi made me feel like I was being gaslit. I mean, did you guys feel that way watching Dr. John's coverage of Delphi? I felt like I was being, yes, as a human being, well, as an American, because of our judicial system. That's why I said as an American for Eve in Germany, because this happened in America. It made me embarrassed for our judicial system that this was happening to Richard Allen. Right. And so, yeah, it's all, Karen, it is all part of the system. So they arrested this guy. They scapegoated, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, Richard Allen is a scapegoat. They scapegoated Richard Allen. He didn't do it. I don't think he did it. He might not be the best guy in the world. He might not be a pleasurable person to be around, but that doesn't make him a unaliver. That doesn't make him a hardcore criminal, right? There are plenty of people that are terrible human beings and to be around, but they're not out there unaliving people, you know? And so I think that they arrested him. He was an easy scapegoat, and they literally tortured him. And I can't even get into the point where correct me if I'm wrong, he was so tortured mentally, he started eating his own feces. Like, that's how they broke him. And so of course he's going to confess. Of course, who wouldn't? With the amount of abuse they hurled at him, of course he's confused now. He went into psychosis. Who wouldn't go into psychosis? And the fact that on Hidden True Crime, Dr. John felt like, yeah, in prisoners, okay, so even Germany says, okay, here prisoners are treated very well. Yeah, but I get you, some countries, it's unacceptable. And as an American, for me, like as a human being, nobody should be treated that way. But for me as an American, that's embarrassing. And I'm not even and I know different states are different. Like, I get that. I'm in Georgia. That was Indiana, different state. But it's still embarrassing as an American to say this is what happens in our prisons to somebody who hasn't even been found guilty yet, right? Like, he confessed, but again, I'm sorry. Dr. John was like, well, we don't, because there's like no evidence. Like, it's all like circumstantial with Richard Allen. There's really no evidence, hardcore evidence, but he confessed. And Dr. John, I'm paraphrasing, was like, well, we have his confession. And I'm sitting here thinking, don't we get false confessions all the time? Like, aren't prosecutors kind of nervous about confessions because typically and a lot of times they are false? Like, am I just being gaslit, or am I living on another planet or another timeline that this happens all the time, especially if you're being tortured? Because even his wife on the prison phone calls was like, no, darling, you did not do this. But I think if you tortured me that way, I probably would crack too. I would probably crack too. I love Jolene. She is so funny. I'll tag her. Let me make a note to tag her below as well. I started following Jolene when she was covering the Scandival reality show. That's when I started following her because she was so funny. Yes, Dr. John is a plant, and that's why I feel silly, because when Delphi happened, I was like, something is wrong. Like, my gut was telling me that they were controlled opposition. They were putting out the prosecution's narrative to convince people, which then made me believe, if that's what they're doing, if they're trying to scapegoat Richard Allen, then who was actually involved in the unaliving of Libby and Abby? Why is it important to cover up who's actually involved? And are they paying Dr. John and Lauren to spin us a false narrative, or is it darker than that? Do Dr. John, Dr. Babe, and Mrs. Babe, do they actually know who's involved? Right? It's a mind fuck, because it's like, are you guys just being paid, or are you actually part of the machine that's doing these occultic rituals to hurt people? Because they looked real bad in Delphi, like real bad. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful, because I spend so much time researching and teaching outside of here that I don't, when Delphi, I saw the other channels that were breaking down the occultic patterns, but I didn't know at that point that it wasn't just like conspiracy theorists who thought it was occultic, that actually regular people thought it was too. And so I feel better about myself. Yeah, with Idaho, the Idaho 4 too as well, Karen. I there's something wrong with that case too. Absolutely. And I've learned now every case that gets big, that creates a national headline, there's usually more to the story. Sometimes in life, people just unalive people. Like there are cases where people lose their temper or they want an insurance plan. There are cases where it's not occultic, right? We know that. But the big cases that make national headlines, there's more to the story. There is always more to the story. So this then takes me back to JJ and Tylee. And a lot of what Crush, and I would highly recommend you guys going to Crush's channel. I know most of you know who Crush is. Again, I'll tag her channel, Difficult Research. I'll tag it in the description box once we are done. So that you can go, because she's JJ's aunt, right? And last time she was in my chat, I got emotional. I don't know how Lauren is able, that bothered me too, I will say. And I kind of always second guess myself, but Lauren got so close to the family's victims. I felt weird about that. I don't know if you guys did, even though I started following them during the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell case, which a lot of us did. I felt really uncomfortable about how close she was getting to the subject of her work. And then I would get mad at myself because the subjects that I cover for the most part on this channel have been dead a really long time, because I go through history and look at the occult stuff in history. So when I'm talking about like Catherine the Great, like that girl died, I can't get close to my subjects, right? They're not here anymore. So I was like, maybe I'm being weird, maybe this is normal. And but I knew for me, like when Kresha was in my chat, I got really emotional because if I talked to, I mean, I hope to be able to talk to Kresha and do a show with her one day, but I feel so bad. Like I cannot imagine, can you guys imagine like what it would be like to be them? Like I cannot, like it's going to make me emotional just thinking about it now. I love my nieces and my nephews so much. I don't have kids. Sorry. I love my nieces and my nephews so much. Like there is nothing in this world that my nieces and nephews could do that would stop me from absolutely loving them. I would give, when my nephew, my oldest nephew, the first kid was born and I held him for the first time, I realized like, oh, I remember having this thought, this is what unconditional love feels like, because I would give my life in a second to protect that baby. Like I remember, like I would just no thought, no questions asked. I would hey Jojo, you're fine. I would step in front of a train. Like I remember thinking like if somebody ever hurts this kid, I am gonna lose. Like that was the first time I felt that. And so I cannot imagine, like just thinking about it, I cannot imagine like not just the parent, but like what an aunt or an uncle would feel knowing that their nephew or their niece was missing and then finding out what actually happened to those babies. I cannot, like the strength that it has taken for the living and surviving family members to sit through those trials, to see the autopsy reports. I have so much respect for them because I don't know if I would be able to see that from my own nephews and nieces and not actually get up and physically approach the defendant, if that makes sense. Because from what I understand, it was awful. It was all, oh, is the audio off with the, I mean, I'm on YouTube's camera. I'm not on any other webcam. Are my words in the video off a little bit? Is my internet stable? Yeah, my internet's stable. I apologize if my words in my video are off. I don't know. There's really nothing I can do about it. But there's no picture, so if it's bothering you, then just listen. Okay. And then yes, and then to compare, yes, even Germany says it makes total sense. And then to compare herself with with that 9-hour live. So back when she was getting enmeshed with the family, I felt like it was weird, and I felt like if I was in her shoes, I would not physically be able, because I would be crying the whole time. You know, I would have a hard time being a professional I would love to interview them. I think a lot of journalists are pretty good about, you know, I don't know. And then so that was weird. Okay, so where do we want to go next? The 9-hour live. So you guys know that she did this 9-hour live claiming that she had been stalked. It was all bullshit, in my opinion. I've had a stalker. My people who have been here for a long time, I went through hell and back. I had um, a literal stalker that not like Lauren, like it went through criminal court. It was bad. Like the police had to come here and like secure my house. Like it was really, really bad. There was a while I couldn't go anywhere without my boyfriend. Both the police in Florida and in Georgia made sure we had one of these at the house because of the threats that were being made. Like it was bad. And when Lauren was going, like when I saw it pop up, this video about her being stalked, I was like, oh, bless her heart. Like I've been through that myself. So I went to, and I kept watching and I was like waiting for the stalking. And then she showed some of the TikToks and I was like, I mean, it's not fun to have someone make a TikTok about you, but I don't see where the threat is. Like, I just, and her crying in the hotel room with the bed, like wiping her tears off with the sheets. I, um, I thought that was very fake. I thought it was contrived. Like, I didn't feel like that was genuine because when I've been ugly crying about my stalker, I did not want anybody to see me. Like, I did not want to be on film. I did not want to do anything. There were shows I was doing on other people's channels at that time that I had to cancel because I was so emotionally unstable because of everything coming at me that I didn't want to do that to their channel. I didn't want to go on their channel and be in a wreck presenting a topic. And so I canceled until I could get my grip. And when Lauren was talking about, one thing that got me in the live too was when she was talking about going to the court for her stalking injunction. And then I realized it took me a while to realize what she was talking about was civil court. What do you mean civil court? Stalking is a felony. That's criminal court. So with my stalking case, I didn't have to go to court. I filed the police report in both Georgia and Florida. The detectives immediately called me. They filed stalking charges. It then became the case happened in Florida. It then became, because that's where my stalker lived, the state of Florida versus my stalker's name. I didn't have to go to any of it as the victim because I wasn't really I was just the victim. I wasn't involved in the court proceedings. And the prosecutor would call me and keep me updated, and they always said you're welcome to come if you want, but they know that somebody that's being stalked, like I was being stalked, doesn't want to go sit in a courtroom where their stalker is. Like I didn't want to do that. And so the fact that Lauren was going, that really threw me off, and I realized, oh, it's because she yeah, it's not, yeah, Eve it's correct. It's not just emotional. If you have a real stalker, you are terrified. Yeah, exactly. Um, it took a while, Eve. I had to file 2 different police reports, and I had a really good detective in Florida. A really good detective in Florida. I would shout out his name to give him props, but I'm scared I want to dox him in case he's working other cases. And he literally, like, he called me when he was filing the charges, and he got emotional on the phone with me, looking at everything that had happened to me. He like got emotional on the phone with me. And so I had a great detective. Like the detective, I think that's hit or miss too, depending on the detective you get. Like the one I got was just incredible. And this my stalker, they had problems with her in the past. So they were familiar with her. And I think that's also why they took it very seriously. Is because they had already had issues with her. They knew how dangerous she was. And so the court system in Florida kept me updated. I never had to go before the court, anything like that. They kept me away because they know that you're not going to want to be there. So the fact that Lauren was showing up to court with her stalker, like that's weird. And I'm glad, Eve, you brought that up. Yeah, it's terrifying. You had a stalker too, and I'm so glad that they didn't help you at first. Hopefully, Eve, the cops did eventually help you with the situation. But Eve is right. That's the last thing you want to do, right, Eve? You don't want to show up in the same vicinity as your stalker, especially when your stalker has described ways that they are going to unalive you, like what happened to me. They've described ways in which it's going to happen. So So the fact that she's showing up to court, that was so weird. Like, I'm watching this 9-hour live, and I think for me, like, something I've had to learn in my life is sometimes I give people the benefit of the doubt too much. Like, I'll feel my gut something is wrong, but my mind, like, overrides it. I'm like, "Well, maybe, well, maybe, well, maybe," like, maybe it's maybe you're a different case or something, but I need to start remembering just to listen to my gut, the first feeling that something is wrong. Like, this is not right. So anyway, this whole now, as we've seen, you guys, I don't have StreamYard, so I can't like share screen, but most of you guys have seen, and if not, again, I'm going to tag it after we get done with the live, after the live uploads, I'm going to tag it in the description box below, everybody else's channel. So many channels have literally, yeah, Jojo, I think a lot of us do that, right? We like second guess ourselves because we feel bad for not trusting someone, right? And it's a lesson we have to learn. So many channels have shown the body cam footage with the cop. That cop that came to Grayson's apartment, holy shit, how embarrassing was that? As a viewer watching, basically what I saw is that Lauren was tattletaling on gossip. Like, apparently there's text chains that have been threatened to come out, and the cop, correct me if I'm wrong, he did say to her, like, if I'm texting, like, Jojo, let's say you and I are texting with each other, they're not just my text, they're your text too, because we're in a conversation. So I can't then dictate what you do with those texts, especially if there's a no NDA, right? Like, you can do whatever you want because they're your text as well. You're a part of the conversation. And the cop kind of said that to her, like, you don't own the conversation. I'm paraphrasing. You don't own it. Everybody involved in and so it just felt to me like she was tattletaling on her friends, her ex-friends, because they were going to expose something that she did. She's at fault. She said something or did something that, and now she's trying to project that blame onto these other people. Now, listen, and here's where we're going to get a little bit gossipy too. Because listen, we've all talked shit. I have one of my best friends and I, he lives up in Canada. We would go to India together and we would bitch about a lot of the people that we go to India with and we study with. And yes, Lauren is, I agree with you. I agree. She is the proverbial mean girl. My friend and I, Chris, have decided that whichever one of us ex-nays this world first, hopefully many years from now, the other one is responsible for getting that person's phone and getting rid of it. Because we have said some really awful things about, and I'm not actually sorry I said it, because some of these people that I go to India with are assholes and they do deserve to be bitched about because they're not nice people. But we've already made, because who doesn't do that? Who doesn't vent with their friends, their trusted friends? Now, this is where my mind is going. So we've got this whole shenanigans and we have these, oh my God, you guys, the Proton emails. She treated this Proton email like it had to be a stalker. Proton is just a email that you can stay anonymous. A lot of people use Proton. Todd has a Proton email account, right? And she sent, though, I believe that she is the one who is sending, like, Mr. Breakfast is a researcher on Reddit. He's anonymous. She sent his work this crazy email. I believe it was Lauren, my opinion, a Proton email threatening his job. The Christina girl who's been labeled the stalker, she's not. Yeah, and she wrote it to her. Yeah, absolutely, Lori. I think she wrote it to herself. So I'm glad you guys are up to date. So the cop body cam was wild. Now, Christina actually said this. I heard her say this on the phone call to the police officer when he called her. And I felt the same way. Lauren, what are you doing? Like, you cover true crime. You cover the worst of the worst. Why the hell are you taking up a police officer's time with this bullshit? This is not a stalking case. No one's threatening you. No one's threatening to hurt you. So why are you taking up this officer's time when he could be out there helping real stalking victims or real people who are really having horrific things happen to them? So, okay, I've got notes here, guys. I haven't even looked at my notes yet. So and we're all almost an hour in. So, yeah, I want to talk about Grayson a little bit. want to gossip a little bit about, and I know nothing about Grayson. This is all my opinion. This is not fact. My opinion, my assumptions. Don't take this as fact. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions. Now, Grayson. She is 24 years old. And I've seen people go back and forth. Lauren is 45. Lauren could be her mother. I'm sure Lauren would hate to hear me say that, but Lauren, I'm 42. I'm not that far behind you. We're at that age, girl, where older teenagers and people in their early 20s could be our kids. All right. Just it is what it is. Grayson, I think there's something wrong with Grayson too. Again, my opinion, I don't think Grayson is mentally stable. Now, I've seen people debate with her being 24. Is she just being, I think two things can be true. Like, I think she's being like manipulated and kind of, I think the issue is being magnified for her by Lauren. Like, I think those of us, like if I was working with Lauren, I think I'd be a little bit more grounded because I'm 42. Like, girl, this might be a little crazy. Like, we need to calm down. I don't need to film you in the bed crying as you wipe your snot on the sheets. Like, I don't, like, no other grown up is going to do that but a 24-year-old, right? Yeah, Grayson is loving the attention. She's 24. She could have walked away instead of choosing to get mez. Well, I think there's something deeper wrong with Grayson. You can see it in her eyes. Her eyes get very, I think that just my opinion, not fact. I'm wondering and speculating if Grayson didn't already have some mental health issues and this has made it worse. And I think that she's getting a lot of, yes, she did. Grayson made herself unemployable. You know, I'm just like Lauren. Now, I don't make enough money to hire a producer. I do it all myself, you know, with the help of my beautiful moderators. Like we just do it ourselves, right? But if I was in the position to hire a producer, which would be so nice to do that, or an assistant, I wouldn't hire Grayson after this display. Would not do it. And I admire, yeah, she does have really shifty eyes. I do admire, you know, one thing I do like about small businesses, which is what we have a small business with Fusion Body Studio with Ashtanga Yoga Atlanta, and we do like to help our employees. We do like to bring our employees in as family, right? We want to take care of our employees. We do. And I think a lot of people, and I do admire that about their relationship, but there's obviously something very toxic in what's happening with Lauren. And at some point they said, was Grayson living with them? I don't know. But the fact that Lauren was at Grayson's apartment, was like cuddled up on a blanket on her sofa, like that's a little inappropriate, you know? And the fact that Grayson, I mean, if they trust Grayson to babysit, that's great. But I think as somebody who I own this brand of Esoteric Atlanta, just like they own Hidden True Crime. If I hired an assistant, a production assistant, I would not then task that person with like taking my dog on a walk. That's not what I'm paying them for. And I feel like that's not what they signed up for. They signed up to help me with the media, not to be my bitch, basically. But I feel like because Lauren is such a big name on YouTube that that Grayson is like almost starstruck. And so I think there was already a mental illness there, and I think Lauren's making it worse. That's just my own opinion. And where are her parents? Like, I know she's 24, but at 24, I mean, shit, at 42, if I was doing what Grayson is doing, my mother would be coming to get me to bring me home. My mother would be like, nope, you're coming with me. We're going to sit you down. So where are her parents? Yes. So let's see. Michelle, sorry guys, even with glasses on because my eyes are so swollen from the wind, I'm having a hard time seeing y'all's handle names. You say, I think Grayson is a manipulative, devious, slimy snake. My opinion, she's got psycho eyes, creepy AF, smiles and looks gleeful. Yes, when she shouldn't. The whole thing about like ordering the cop, like in the body cam footage. And if you missed the body cam footage, again, I'll tag all those people down below who shared it. When she was basically ordering the cop to call somebody to scare them because they had a lot to lose, that's devious. That's devious behavior. That is very devious. That made me very uncomfortable. And I hope to God she can recover from this. And I hope to God she learns her lesson. But yeah, I don't think she's employable. Not in this industry. I wouldn't employ her. So, tough lesson to learn at 24, you know? So now let's get into my big conspiracy theories. Y'all ready? And you guys probably have thought this too. Drum roll. Okay, so let me make sure I'm not missing anything. First, I want to talk about Project Mockingbird. Now, do you guys know what Project Mockingbird is? I know a lot of the people in my chat do know what that is. Like, this is a legitimate, like, the 3-letter agency has released this. This is a legitimate psyop, we'll say. So, Eve, Project Mockingbird, you can look this up. I'm trying to be careful how I say this because I don't want the algorithms to get mad. So if you go to YouTube, once we're all done, you can type in Project Mockingbird and they'll show clips of all of these news stations across the United States, like Good Morning, Idaho, Good Morning, Atlanta, all saying the same script. Basically, Project Mockingbird, it comes from World War II with the Yazis, because we can't say the N-word, Yazis and Hitler. This was their propaganda machine, where the media, they push the same narrative. The media. So basically, journalists today, besides criminal justice Chris, like big journalists you see today, they're not doing any research. They're handed at 4:00 in the morning, they're handed a script. Now, there was a time a few years back that I worked with, because of some of my research, I was contacted by CNN, which is based here in Atlanta. And I was, it is so obvious to see, isn't it, Karen, that they're pushing a narrative. I went to go sit down with this guy from CNN, whom I actually really liked, but I told him straight up, I was like, bro, I'm nervous about working with you guys because my friends my colleagues that I work with in YouTube from other countries, even they know that you guys lie. My friends in other countries call CNN the clown news network. And so I was like, I don't want to lose credibility working with you guys. And he agreed. He was like, he worked with the documentary side. So he was like, yeah, they lie to you. The anchors lie to you. So this is where we're going to talk about with Lauren. So Lauren, Lauren with Long Crime, Lauren, she told basically this is how it sounded to me. She was bitching to the police officer because she's an important journalist. She's like a real journalist, y'all. Did you know? She's a real journalist because she worked for mainstream media. She was on some like local news in Idaho. You can find clips of her. And how, so all these little podcasters, that's cute, but she's the real, she's the real journalist because she's been on like the real TV. And I'm watching her say this. I'm like, is she just completely clueless? There's a reason why mainstream media has tanked in numbers. Tanked. How many, like MSNBC, how many of these, she was on the real news. How many of these people, I mean, how many, you guys know this, like, all of these big media outlets are having to like sell part of their businesses because they're not getting the numbers. Nobody's watching them anymore. Oh, you're a highly educated Irish person who lives in Germany. Yes. Yeah. So this is happening all over the world. The BBC, there's a lot of people who have big YouTube channels that used to work for the BBC that talk about this, that they left the BBC because they can't be journalists. They're just told, they're given barking orders of what to say. So is Lauren just clueless? This is why YouTube blew up in like 2020, was because people stopped trusting their local media. So they started going to YouTube. They started to listening to people like me who are a normal, and I'm nothing special. I'm just a normal person in my bedroom talking to you guys off of my research. And there are other people, that's what I appreciate about YouTube. And then they started shadow banning us and taking people's channels down. So we moved to other platforms like RUMBLE and Substack. And, and so I'm listening to Laura, the arrogance in the way she spoke about that. And I'm like, but girl, Lauren, nobody trusts the mainstream media anymore. The only people who trust the mainstream media now are kind of low IQ people. Like, I hate to sound mean, but people just watch the media now for comedy, for comic relief, to see what kind of lies they're going to try to sell us today. It's crazy. And so the fact that she used this like she was very bombastic about it. And when I will say I had like a gut reaction when I first started watching Hidden True Crime because she was in media. My gut was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't trust this person. But then I got mad at myself because you guys know if you've been here for a long time, like not everybody in media is bad. Like there are a lot of people who have left media and opened up YouTube channels because they didn't want to be a part of that machine anymore. So I was like, so Bryce, like, don't judge. I was telling myself, don't judge. Maybe she knows because she was in media. She didn't want, maybe she's doing a podcast with her husband because she didn't want to be a part of the machine. But I always had this like weird feeling in my story and my gut about it. And now I know why, because I feel like that's what's happening now. It's Project Mockingbird. I believe, in my opinion, that Lauren Matthias is paid, controlled opposition for, I think she is deep, you guys, deep in the LDS church, the Latter-day Saints church. She's very coy about her Mormonism. She's very coy about that Mormonism. Some days she's like, not really. Other days she's super involved. That weird interview she gave on the Mormon stories, like weird interview. At the end, she was like, I don't know if I believe, but I still go. It was talking out of both sides of her mouth. And I'm thinking, like, we've studied a lot about Listen, Mormonism, I grew up Presbyterian, mainstream Christian, and I now practice yoga. I'm not really into that anymore. But listen, Mormonism is super interactive. Like you can be like a Presbyterian and oh, the story about her great Lori, can you give a little synopsis if you can? Because I didn't remember. I don't remember that part. So, yeah, that's possible. Dads are people too. I think she's deep in the LDS church. The LDS church is very interactive. We're going to talk more about it in the new year. I've done a lot of research. I've read the Book of Mormon just for shits and giggles long before I was on YouTube. I just wanted to see what they believed. And I thought it was the wildest, but yet at the same time, boringest religious book I've ever read. They do so much in the Mormon faith. They are so interactive. Like they can't, like, as a Presbyterian growing up, we went to church on Sunday night and like church on Sunday morning. That was it. Beyond that, my house growing up was very secular. My sister and I used to play with all of my mom's old Rolling Stones records. My parents have a bar in their house. Like, even though we were Presbyterian, we believe in God. We prayed before we ate. We said our bedtime prayers. It wasn't that interactive, right? Like, we were still very secular. And I feel like with Mormonism, though, it's so interactive because you have these long ass services on Sundays, and then you have like temple recommends, and so it's positively yeah, and I just don't see how you can be half in, like not really believing and still be a Mormon because it's so interactive. Like, I think if you were just a Presbyterian, you could just go with the flow of your family's culture and be fine. Yeah, we're actually, dads are people too. We are going to be doing a show. We're filming it on Saturday about the baptisms for the dead. We have an awesome community member here on Esoteric Atlanta that's been here for a while who's an ex-Mormon, and she is going to come on the show and talk all about baptisms for the dead. So be looking out for that video next week. I'm so excited. I find that shit so weird, but it's so fascinating. And so I cannot wait for her to like talk about it. Yeah, I told her, I was like, I've researched this stuff, but I'm not a Mormon. I never was a Mormon. So I feel like it's better coming from an ex-Mormon to talk about the baptisms for the dead. So that's coming next week, you guys. That will be probably Monday of next week is when we're probably going to put it up. We're going to pre-record it. And so she's so brave. Like, I'm so happy that Lorene is going to come out and talk about this, because I know it's hard when that's the culture you've left and you still have family in it. But nonetheless, I feel like with Mormonism, if you don't really believe, it's a lot just to keep going to do these interactive activities, to get temple recommends, all that kind of stuff. So obviously she's a true believer. Now let's go back to where we started. Let's circle back to JJ and Tylee. Okay, so sorry, had something in my throat. Chad and Lori it's been sold to us that their beliefs, what led to this disaster that happened with their children and with Charles and Tammy, is like a fringe belief of Mormonism. That's not my opinion. studying Mormonism. As an outsider looking in, what they believe, the whole visions of glory nonsense, that's Mormonism. And maybe because I am an outsider looking in, I think sometimes when you are an outsider looking in, you notice things that other people wouldn't notice who are grandfathered into a faith. Now, with that being said, I want to make that very clear. There are so many Mormons that are incredible people. And even with, like, I come down real hard on the mainstream Christianity too. There are really good people who are Christians. We have to separate the people from the belief system when I talk about this. I feel nothing but empathy for a lot of Mormons because it's crazy. These beliefs are like crazy making, and I can see how their beliefs can cause neuroses because you have all these levels of heaven. Like, what? And you want to make sure you get to the it's very, I can understand growing up in that faith would be hard. I think it'd be very hard to grow up in that faith. And I have a lot of empathy. And then to be taught something is true your whole life and to have your whole identity, the pioneers, you can be proud of your Mormon ancestors for making that hike across the United States, but also separate, two things can be true. Be proud of what they did, but also recognize that the religion is terrible. I mean, Joseph Smith, I know they venerate him as a prophet. He was a con man. He was a narcissistic con man selling snake oil. And maybe that's easy for me to see because I wasn't raised Mormon, and I can look at the Old Testament and say all those guys are freaking creepy too. Abraham was creepy. David was creepy. Like, I can look at the Old Testament as someone who grew up mainstream and be like, yeah, there's some problems with the Old Testament as well. It doesn't mean that Yeshua or Jesus was doing it. There's multiple truths here. Yeah, it's not black or white. It's not black or white. There's nuance here. And so my heart really goes out. It really goes out to people who grew up in like Mormonism and from so when I say that, I'm not trying to ostracize any Mormons when I say that. And I understand that a lot of Mormons think that what Lori and Chad believed were fringe because they're not doing that shit in their houses. Most people aren't. Thank God most people aren't doing that stuff. But this is Mormon belief. This is Mormon belief. Mormons still have the blood atonement, right? Where they will unalive people if they feel like people have left the fold. They feel like it's for that person's best interest if they get unalived, schmurdered, because they don't want their soul. This is Mormonism. This is what it is. And a lot of the temple stuff is very occultic. It's all, and I hope that Lorene will go into more detail about the temple because obviously I'm never going to go into the temple because I'm not a Mormon. And the fact that they have secrets. Yeah, dads are people too. They do shun members who speak out. I will say that's a wonderful thing about being mainstream Christian is nobody cares in mainstream Christianity. Like, I spent many of my adult life in India studying traditional yoga and my mom doesn't care. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Eve, I agree with you. It is evil. It's so evil. And it breaks my heart because so many people become like enslaved to this like wackadoo craziness. I believe, however, and there are people, Asia Rain, who has spoken about all of the nefarious stuff, the human, we'll say carpooling instead of the T word, just because of the algorithms that happens throughout the LDS church. I know that Kresha has spoken a lot about this. They do have blood atonement. They do have what Chad and Lori did to Tylee and JJ. And so, oh, welcome, Wolf Girly. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, you could, girl, it's fine. You can start from the beginning. It's no big deal. I understand that. We're already an hour in, so go ahead and start from the beginning. Totally fine. But I feel like Lauren is deep in the LDS church. I believe that she has paid opposition. I think she was paid by, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. This is my speculation. I believe that she was paid by the Mormon church to cover on YouTube on the YouTube streets, the peasant streets, not the, real journalists, the 1%, but the peasants, us peasants. I think she was, because she obviously thinks of us that way, right? Since she's the real, that was very clear in that body cam. She is very proud of her status. She thinks she's above us peasants, right? So she was paid, in my opinion, by the Mormon Church to come in and tap dance around, making it seem like Chad and Lori are some fringe freak group. They're not. They're not. And I believe that there are many people that should be sitting their asses in prison too. I think both the Melanies should be in prison. My opinion, I think Zulema should be in prison. There's so many people that were aware of what was about to happen to those children and did nothing because of belief, because of their occultic beliefs. I think the head of the Mormon church knew what was going on. That's how far it goes for me. I think the head of the church they know about these little rituals, these blood atonements that are happening around the world. And they don't get their hands dirty, but they don't say shit, do they? Do they? They don't say anything. But then we got Lauren out here. We're going to play Lauren and Dr. Babe. We're going to pay them to go out there to entice people, almost like spelling, woo, come to my side. This was just a fringe movement. That's all it was. Watch my finger. Why? It's just it's not part of Mormon. No, this is weird. Bullshit. So if you want more on that, watch Cressa's channel. Again, once I get off, it takes a minute for the live to reload. So if you're watching this in replay and you don't see the channels tagged below, give it a minute. I got to give it a minute to tag them. Watch Cressa's channel. Now this brings me to the text messages. So drum roll, it took us 1 hour and 16 minutes to get to the text messages. I believe, as I was saying with my friend Chris, I've got some shitty text messages. Sorry guys, they're doing yard work outside. So if y'all hear that, I apologize. That's loud. Hopefully you can't hear it. But so I got shitty text messages with my friend Chris. That would really suck if those text messages came out, but I'd own them. I'd probably be like, yep, that's what I said. Where's the lie? So the fact that Lauren's doing all of this, what's in those text messages? That's where my mind keeps going. Now, is she just worried about her saying bad things about victims? Because honestly, if she had not done that 9-hour live, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about my opinions with you guys right now. So she kind of opened up Pandora's box by doing that 9-hour live. I think this is my conspiracy. I think those text messages show that she's being paid by the LDS church. And I think she was paid by Delphi, the Delphi case. And I think that's what those text messages are going to show. That's what I think. I think that's why Dr. John, when he talked to the police officer, said, what did he say? This is career ending. This is career ending. Which, if that's the case, then Lauren, you dumbass, why would you ever tell anybody that? I mean, I'm glad you did if that's what's in the text messages and that's what's coming out. So that's one theory I have. Is that what's going to come out? I don't think it's about talking bad about victims. I think it's about the fact that she squealed because she's that important and told somebody that she's being paid a lot of fucking money by the LDS church because the LDS church is connected, right? It's the most richest religion in the world, right? It's connected to all these other government assets. And I think the same people in the LDS church that are paying her to run cover for their little evil operation also connected her with Delphi to cover up the occultism that's going on. Does that make sense to you guys? Or another thing that could be happening, and but they're both true, is that she's got borderline personality disorder, and this is what's going on, mixed with narcissism. And I think, and that could be, she could be very jealous of Christina. Let's be honest. Christina, from what I've seen, I don't know Christina. Christina's beautiful. She's gorgeous. And she's super, super, super talented. Her art is so good. And she obviously has a husband that adores her. She's got a lot of kids. They're obviously, I know Mormons typically do have a lot of kids, but you know, if you got a lot of kids, there's obviously a healthy, intimate life going on. Obviously, Christina, from what it seems, does pretty well. I think she does well, and I think her husband probably does well. She was able to afford those Meta glasses and drop $1,800 on a Crime Con ticket. I think that Lauren is insanely jealous of Christina. And I think that she's using Christina, she's punishing Christina right now. Joke's on Lauren, though. I don't think this is going to go away. And I think she's punishing her for how dare Christina be that beautiful? How dare Christina be that popular? She's got a lot of friends. How dare Christina be that liked? How dare Christina have a loving husband? Maybe it's a bit of both. Maybe she's insanely jealous of Christina, but also there's a lot she needs to hide in those text messages with evidence of her being controlled opposition. So that's what I have put this up on other people's comments in their videos. Like, this is what and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go live and give my opinions, even though we do so many different topics on this channel. I've done a few videos over this, but it's not something, I'm not typically a commentary channel on like events that are happening right now. I give commentary on things that happened in the past. But if you guys like this stuff, if you like us talking about modern day occultism, I can continue doing this stuff. Fake Ike. Yep. Lauren she's the problem. Yep. So let's see. Lauren is the threat. She is the problem. She is her literal own worst enemy. I really have never seen anybody self-implode that way. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? I will say, like, sometimes this might be mean, and I apologize if this is mean, but sometimes you think, am I just this terrible person? Like, do you guys ever have that moment where you're like, am I just a really bad person? But then you see something like this happen, you're like, no, I'm good. I would never do this. I am absolutely good. I watched Colby's last video a couple of days ago, Tylee's brother, JJ's brother. Bless his heart, you guys. Like, that is someone that's, I just want to cry for him. Like, he's not even 30, y'all. He is not even 30 years old. And he has already gone through losing his whole family. His whole family was annihilated by his mother. And Chad Daybell, who he called, what did he call Family Guy? Now my mind's gone blank. Who's the Family Guy? The main who's the dad in Family Guy? Anyway, imagine like having your whole family annihilated and having to go through that publicly. Peter Griffith, that's it. Peter, thank you, Lori. Peter Griffith. He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. Not even 30 years old yet, and you're married yourself. You have your own family. You've got your own children, and he's not even 30, and he's dealing with all this shit. And then Dr. John, I loved how he responded to that, where Dr. John said, Colby's like my adopted son, and he was like, no, I'm not. I don't have parents. Like, how insensitive, Dr. John. Like, I remember when Dr. John said that, and I thought, that's really insensitive. Like, why would you say that? And the fact that Lauren compared herself to Charles and Tylee, like, who fucking does that? Like, read the room. So disrespectful. Or the fact that, and Colby did bring this up too, which was great. He brought this up because I noticed this as well. They want to get the FBI involved on Lauren's text messages being released. But yet Dr. John had no problem reading Colby's text messages to them. Like, do you not see the hypocrisy, Dr. John? And you're the psychologist. You're apparently the psychologist. We all saw the hypocrisy in that. Rules for thee, but not for me, right? Rules for thee, but not for me. Nobody else is allowed to release Lauren's text messages, or we're going to stick the cops on you and try to get you arrested. Even though they're not Lauren's text messages, they're shared with everybody in the group, but we can read other people's messages on our channel. It's crazy. So let's see. Anzio1 or AZ Anzio1 says HTC is totally protecting the Mormon church. Remember when Elizabeth Smart was missing? Church was vocal about her missing versus radios. Exactly, exactly. And don't the Smarts, aren't they in like the same ward that Lauren's family was in? Maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but there's some connection between everything. Um, exactly. Let's see here. I'm trying to get sorry. Sometimes it's so hard for me. I see my age when I'm looking at the chat. Um, yeah. So with that being said, guys, continue to leave your comments down in the comment section or in the chat because I want to read them and we can do a recap because I am sure more is going to come out. Now, I did see, so Hella, which I'm going to again tag her channel. I just found her channel a few days ago. She's great, the Australian chick. I did see that she had like a members only live with Lindsay, who's another character in this saga. I think it was last night, and it looks like it's about to premiere this evening. So if you guys want to watch that, I'll tag her channel in the description box once I get off. And yeah, no, you can write as much as you want, girl. Sorry about the novel. Yeah, please add to the conversation because this is why getting back to the genesis of my channel. That's why I started my channel. It was lockdown and I didn't want to be researching shit by myself. I wanted to hear what other people had to say. So that's the whole reason why I started Esoteric Atlanta was to be able to see what other people's perspectives are, right? Because that's what's healthy. It's healthy to hear other people's opinions. Lauren, it's healthy, Lauren. And if you get in bed with the devil's gonna want his dues paid. And it seems like if you are controlled opposition, girl, you asked for this yourself. So anyway, all right. Yeah, I think more is definitely going to come out. Lori, I'm hoping it comes out before Christmas because I'm going to be out of town the 26th and the 1st, and I'm not going to be anywhere where we're going. We're going to the mountains, and it's so hard to get full internet. Like I can get on my phone sometimes, but the internet comes and goes, so I can't like go live really or load a video because it's just poor internet. So I'm hoping that if anything comes out, it comes out. What a great Christmas present, right? It's very interesting to watch how the mighty fall, right? Pride cometh before the fall. That's why you always check yourself. Like I'm so lucky to have a big platform like Esoteric Atlanta. I'm so happy that there were more people than just my mom who subscribed to me. I was thinking for a long time it was just going to be like my boyfriend and my mom who subscribed to my channel. And neither one of them, they are both subscribed to my channel, but neither one of them watch my channel. It's because Todd's like, I can hear you in the other room. So anyway, it's yep. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to catch up with y'all. Anyway, I'll look at the comments when I get off of the live. But okay, so moving forward into the new year, good morning. We are going to be going deeper into the Mormon Church. We are going to do an episode before the new year with Lorene about the baptisms for the dead. Now, again, I'm also working on trying to figure out how to help the algorithms because I get put in the shadow banning gutters because I'm not controlled opposition, you guys. Shocker. I don't think the controlled opposition would want me, to be honest with you guys. So I have been talking to people and it seems I have avoided doing memberships because I have a Patreon. I love my patrons. If you want to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon and I have these awesome supporters over on Substack. If you subscribe to my Substack, I do send out emails. I'm so glad you found my channel too. Yeah, please continue to come back. We have fun on this channel. So I'm glad you guys are here. Welcome. I'm totally laid back here. So just have fun here. So we got a lot of old people, not old like in age, but like a lot of my OGs are in the chat too. So we're very glad that you guys are here. Please continue to come. We get into weird and wacky topics. There's really no weird and wacky topic that's off limits here. I always quote Aristotle. It's a sign of an intelligent mind when you can entertain an idea and not accept it. That's kind of the philosophy that I take. Although a lot of I really want, like Abby and Libby, again, back to Delphi. If Richard Allen is innocent, then not only do we have two victims that haven't gotten justice, but now we have another victim to worry about. I saw just something I meant to say. I do think that Lauren had an affair. I think that's in the text messages too. I think she had an affair. That's just my opinion though. I am so glad you guys are subscribing. Again, I get stuck in shadow banning hell, but enjoy the past videos. We have so many. Hold on, guys. My dog is scratching on the door to get out. Hold on 1 second. All right. There you go, buddy. Go see daddy. Go see daddy. Sorry, guys. Ravi is a fixture on this channel sometimes too. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Juliet. Aw, thank you. Oh, you have your fallen Catholic beliefs. Juliet, you are in the right channel. Then a lot of people on this channel are ex-Catholic. A lot of people on this channel have gone on their own journey of finding God outside of religion. I very much believe in God, but I don't follow religion at all. Even though I grew up Presbyterian, I follow more the yoga philosophy of finding it within yourself. And thank you guys so much. Make sure that you subscribe. Well, JoJo's one of my moderators. She's awesome. And then we've got Midwest Night Watchers, one of my moderators too, you guys. Midwest Night Watchers, will you put your channel in they have great, if you like cryptids, if you like Bigfoot and all those fun urban legends, please make sure to check please make sure to check out their channel too. We do fun shows with them, and hopefully in the new year we can do more with them. And I'm hoping my boyfriend, he's the Confused Wanderer, so if anything ever happens to my channel, I'll be over. Yeah, Kentucky Hun, I checked out of organized religion but firmly believe in God. Me too, absolutely, me too. I have my channel got big with them. I went through a lot of the missing books of the Bible. That's when my channel got big, and bloodlines. We went through bloodlines and blood types, and going through the missing books of the Bible. Even though I had already kind of left behind the Christian belief system, it grew my faith in God because it confirmed a lot of what I already believed about the controlled religions. And so I agree with you. All this stuff I'm learning about religions has only strengthened my belief in God and something bigger than us. And so we get weird and wacky here. Todd and I have been doing channeling on a spirit board for fun over on his channel. We do deep dives into urban legends. Yeah, we're very open-minded here, very open-minded here. So and we like to call out the controlled opposition, and we like to I started from the very beginning saying that the Ram Dass quote, we're all just walking each other home. We're the blind. We might be the blind leading the blind, but at least we're trying to help each other get home. So please subscribe if you like the content. We'd love to have you here. Love to have you here. We have fun here. So as I was saying, in the new year, we probably are going to start memberships. That's something I didn't really want to do because, again, I have awesome patrons and Substack. And I'm going to check for my Patreon members and my Substack members. I was going to see if there was a way that I could let you guys just be members anyway, because you already donate to the channel. But what I'm going to do, you guys, with the membership is because I never really wanted to do memberships. Because I never really wanted to do exclusive content. But what I think we're going to do, I talked to Todd, my boyfriend. Todd is an incredible I Ching reader. He's really good at that. Oh, love you too, Kara Dog. I love all you guys. I feel like you guys are, I know they call it parasocial relationships, but a lot of my older subscribers that have been here since the beginning, I feel like we've been through it together, all of us. I feel like you guys are lifelong friends. I was written organized. Yep. So I'm so glad you guys are all here. So please be welcome here. But with the memberships, what I was thinking about doing at the beginning of the year is to help the algorithms, to help get my channel back out there in the algorithms. I was going to set the membership at the lowest price. I'm hoping they'll let me do like 99 cents a month. And what I was going to do is I was going to do some lives, members only lives a month. And I was hoping that what Todd can do for you guys, because he's an incredible I Ching reader, is give you guys I Ching readings on the live and members only live as your perk. So you wouldn't be missing if you can't join the membership or you don't want to. I don't want you to feel like you have to. You're not going to be missing any of like the content of like the really scandalous content. It'll just give us an opportunity. Maybe a few times a month, Todd can pull the I Ching out, throw the pennies for you, answer your questions. I love the I Ching. If you've never done readings with the I Ching, it's great. It doesn't give you exact, like definite answers. It gives you probabilities. And the I Ching has definitely helped me a lot when Todd pulls the I Ching for me. to help me understand like what I need to do with the situation. And so I was thinking we could do that. How does that sound? Let me know, guys, because we'll start it in the new year, and it would just help my channel out a lot, because I've avoided memberships. When I first started YouTube, there were no memberships, and I was told that YouTube is going to push your channel out if YouTube can make more money off of your channel. And so I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see if I can set it the lowest price possible. And I Ching is, let me double check. I think it's ICHING. Hold on, let me come back here. So I'll see, I can type it in. It's there we go. Oh, yeah. Well, I need to get StreamYard, and StreamYard is so freaking expensive. I don't know how people afford it. I'm like, it's taking out a mortgage. But I saw, actually, it was Hella's channel where she shares a StreamYard with another content creator. And I have so many people, you guys know, you've been around with me for a while. There are people I've been filming with consistently for 6 years now, and they've become really good friends of mine. And so I was going to talk to them and see if they wanted to share a StreamYard so we could split the price, because then we'll be able to do like group lives. And I can I watched Every Day with Jay. I watched her call-in show where people could call in. I would love that. Like, I would love, yeah, absolutely. And why is exactly, Juliet, like the Melanies, both of them need to be in prison. I'm sorry. If you fucking know that a child is about to be taken out and you don't do anything, your ass is just as guilty, in my opinion. Oh, cool, Midnight. Oh, you have 4 team members. Awesome. Well, I'll talk to some of people, because I know you guys have StreamYard, right? Midwest Night Watchers, y'all already have StreamYard. I will talk to some of my other friends on YouTube and see who don't have it. Same reason is because it's just so expensive. And see if they would be interested in like sharing it. The StreamYard, because I would only use StreamYard. Yeah, Zulema too. Absolutely. Absolutely. She absolutely is. They knew, in my opinion. But I would only use the StreamYard for lives. That's the only, otherwise I would just use my Zoom, you know? Oh, thank you, Dragonfly. Dragonfly's been here since, she's an OG as well. She's an OGer. Yeah. Well, let me know if y'all want to share it, Midwest Night Watchers. I would totally be down to like share it, because I only use it for lives. That would be the only purpose that I would use it for, would be to do lives. That's it. Otherwise, like my pre-recorded stuff, I would just use my regular camera. So I can share it with anybody. But anyway, maybe with the memberships, that could help us get StreamYard. So that's a benefit as well. So think about it. Let me know if that's something y'all would be interested in doing, like memberships where Todd did. And I haven't checked. I don't know what their lowest price is. A lot of people do 99 cents. So that's why I'm assuming, but I'm going to just check. I'll look at it over the Christmas break to see, you know, and that will hopefully help us get our community back out there. Yeah, they absolutely, I agree with you, Michelle. They absolutely should both be imprisoned. Melanie P was the only one who had Brandon Bordeaux's new address. She was part of his attempted unaliving. And yeah, exactly. And Brandon, I forgot, bless his heart. Like, can you imagine? Like he's a white dude. Like he's not a rapper, you know, like, can you imagine being like shot at? Like, I can't imagine. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you can watch the replay. No, and you've been here since 2020 as well. Exactly. So you guys, I'm going to sign off here in a minute. I never like to keep my lives too long, because I know I respect y'all's time, and I know that you guys are all busy people, and I really appreciate you guys listening to my conspiracy theories and my ramblings on this very very weird case of Lauren Matthias. I cannot wait. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comment section. Do you think Lauren is controlled opposition? What do you think is actually in those text messages? Because I'll be damned, I don't think it's just her bitching about people. I think there's something way more serious in those text messages than her just talking shit about people. And thank you all to the new followers and subscribers. And I will let you guys know with the membership, give me ideas. What would you want in a membership option that you would like without taking away from the big work we do here on the channel? So thank you guys so much. Thank you. Again, we're going to be filming more with Lou over on the Confused Wanderer. So make sure you check that out as well. And I will keep you guys posted. Subscribe to the Substack. It's in the description box below. I will email you every time I post a video or every time that I'm about to go live. I always send an email out through Substack because we know YouTube's not that great at notifying people. So go ahead. It's free. So go ahead and yeah, the bathroom chats, Julia. Wasn't that great? The lady who called in from the bathroom. And I saw that Jay cut that part, made a separate video. She was fabulous. If she's watching, like, she's a little detective. She put together a timeline, receipts, timeline. Like, she put it all together. So I will, once this loads, you guys, I will go back and tag all the channels I mentioned down below. And so you guys can go check them out and be nice to each other. Don't be a Lauren. We should make that a t-shirt, right? Don't be a Lauren. Oh, thank you, Michelle. It's my mother's maiden name. It's a big thing we do down here in the South. we give my mother was a Bryce. I have her maiden name. I have a cousin named Strom. That's our grandmother's maiden name. So it's a big thing to do down here. So anyway, all right, you guys, have a wonderful start to your week. Merry Christmas, happy whatever holiday you celebrate, and I'll see you guys later on this week with more videos. All right, you guys. Lots of love, everybody. Thank you, Midwest Nights watchers and JoJo for being my mods as well. Make sure you check them out. All right, bye, everybody.